guys? It is Uncle Bob, and welcome to the channel. Welcome back, guys. How's it going? We are here for more Advance Wars of the live Hangout variety. We are here with Advance Wars, and I am doing splendiferous. Hope everyone's doing all right. Let me actually get my. All right, let's shut that off. Let's actually get the live stream pulled up so I may actually talk to folk if anybody actually pops in. But how's everyone doing today? We are here for field training mission number 2, terrain intel. That is what we are here to do today. Hope everyone's doing all right. Oh, I have actually not eaten dinner, and I kind of wanted to, needed to, needed to. I needed to do both of those, but I did not. Okay, good. I thought I dropped my, looks like my drink is actually still good. I started to fall asleep while watching Dragon Ball Daima with my best friend, and we were doing all right. Oop, give me 1 second. All right. I dilly-dallied, honestly, just a little too long today, not gonna lie, because the woman is already asking me if I'm gonna be coming to bed soon, which means it's been a while. But yeah, we were both getting into some drunken discussions, and everything was just taking a lot longer. Just talking about the state of affairs in America and everything else. Just doing a little bit of unwinding with the homie. It honestly, it's so weird looking at the difference in shading between the actual recording of this game and my phone. Because, like, on the actual recording, the background for Nell here is a little bit more of like honestly, like a light green color with the backdrop, even though it's moving a little bit and it's got writing. But yet, on the live stream, it just seems like it's such a weird. It just seems like it's a different shade. It's weird. You know what it's like? It's like that weird thing that you do when you're a little autistic and you're stimming a little bit, and you just sit there like closing one eye in school and seeing like the color, and then you switch to the other eye and you keep going back and forth. That's what it's like. It's what it's like looking at the two different. You just see different shades. Oh, but yeah, we're just here to chill out a little bit. We're here to relax. We're here to have some fun. I'm just going to relax a little bit, do a little adult activity here, and then we're going to get on to terrain intel. Do some reading of some video games and watch some pew-pews. Oh. Ooh, wrong end. Haha. Nope. One day I would really like these things to be a little bit more primetime viewing hours. I'm not gonna lie, I should have been playing this game like 2.5 hours ago. Like, being Eastern time, like 2:45 p.m. Eastern time, that would have been perfection as far as playing this goes. But we can't always do everything perfectly. In fact, we can almost always do it not that way. But oh well. I was having fun watching Dragon Ball with my homie and drunkenly talking about whatever subject it is we wanted to talk about. And that is actually going to be one of the biggest fun aspects about this playthrough, is that Saturdays are the nights that I get drunk. So these are going to be the days where my decision making will be a little bit poorer than normal, which for a strategy game should make it all the more interesting. Give me one sec. But yeah, me and my buddy were watching the new Dragon Ball show. We were watching Dragon Ball Daima. We were supposed to watch 2 episodes today, but that did not happen. That did not happen one bit. But it was fun. It was fine. I'm having a good time with that show. It's nice watching through 2 different Dragon Ball shows. One watching with my son, and the other one watching with my friend. Especially because the one I'm watching with my son is all the episodes that I would have watched with my friend, but 25 years ago. So being a part of a, I don't want to put it. I don't know, just having my son be with me to make memories like that of, the original Dragon Ball shows, while the show is still actively going on and I get to watch it with my homie. It's a fun feeling. One that, I'm not going to lie, because of being under the state of influence, I do not always perfectly remember from week to week. But that's fine, because that means when I go and watch it with my son, it will basically be the exact same kind of new feeling, the new vibe. So I'm having a lot of fun watching with my best friend. It just reminds me of being a kid again. I guess because of the times that I grew up in, and the fact that my best friend went to a different school as me, different school district actually. I never had those experiences of sitting there with a friend watching shows like that. And it is something special. It's just like all those childhood feelings all bottled up, and then you get to see it play out, but modern times. You get to see all the Goku action. Oh, it feels good. It feels good. It feels good to experience that, like I said, the new episodes with one of my best friends. And then, it was funny, like anybody who's watched the old Dragon Ball, we just watched episode 36. The last episode we watched was of Goku scaling Muscle Tower. And he fought that giant robot, Major Metallotron. And it was just funny to, it was funny to watch my son watch, an episode of Dragon Ball and sit there being like, when's he gonna do it? And he starts doing like the Kamehameha, like hand motion. And it's just like, oh, that feel, ooh. Oh, that feels so good. Just seeing my son just looking forward to a good Kamehameha blast. It just hits you right in the childhood. Especially me, because, a lot of these kind of shows are the shows that I grew up on. And I know that when you have kids, your kid can't just be a carbon copy of you. Your kid's not going to like the same things in all instances that you do for the most part. Your kid's not going to, be attracted to all the same, hobbies and everything else. So, my son and me, he's 8, about to turn 9. We are very different kids. Like when I was his age, bro, all I wanted to do was go home every day, play Zelda or play one of the old Final Fantasy games, play some of those old SNES RPGs like Breath of Fire. I always had these other games, or sorry, little tips. I always had these, how do I put it? Like there's always just like when I was a kid, I just wanted to play all these games. When I watch my son, what he does in his free time, like he likes to build shit. And that's so much better. But it's just not what I was about as a kid. And that's the real fun thing is that honestly, I love watching the fact that my son has so much different interest than I do. You know, he doesn't like the same TV shows. He doesn't like the same video game. For video games, honestly, my son is much more like my mother, where I've bragged before. The reason why I have the taste in video games and other things that I do is due to my grandmother. You know, my grandmother used to play all of the old Zelda games. She used to play the old Final Fantasy games. She used to have the taste for a lot of these sorts of games. My mom, on the other hand, my mom was one of those people who she basically, like, she played Galaga, Dig Dug, maybe Pac Man, and maybe if I really wanted to catch my mom in a good mood back in the late 90s, uh, I could get my mom to occasionally play along and play some Mario Party. Actually, I shouldn't make it sound like that. My mom would pretty willingly play some Mario Party. But my mom was not the kind of person who ever played video games that had any sort of story or anything like that. Higher purpose, nothing. Anytime my mom would play video games, it was always much more just arcade based kind of games. And I mean, as far as like games, like that's fine. All kinds of gaming are relatively equal. So like I'm not trying to poo poo on those kinds of games. It's just like very clearly noticing the difference in games that I like playing versus my mom. And it's just funny that my son ended up liking a lot of those same kind of games. You know, when he plays games on my phone, you know, for me it's all going to be old emulators. So he'll get to play honestly, his favorite game is the original Zelda. He's not very good at it. Like, I wasn't very good at the original Zelda, but my son is worse. He's horrible at it. But watching him just explore the world and just having a bit of fun with it, honestly, for me, that's all I really need. You know, and the way this goes back to Dragon Ball, it's just like to have something that, you know, like I said at the very beginning of this little spiel, I know your kid can't be a carbon copy of you. Your kid's not always going to have your interests. But when there's something like Dragon Ball, where it is one of the few times that I actually do have something that really feels good, especially when, you know, especially when you, like I said, with the difference in video game tastes and other things, you know, when I wanted to start watching Dragon Ball with my son, I didn't know if this was going to be exactly it. I didn't know if he was going to take to it. I didn't know if he was going to like it. So the fact that he does means a lot. And when it comes to these games, though, I tell you what, I definitely need to do better myself because trying to play these games nearly 3 hours later than I wanted to, it's not going to cut it. And luckily, this is all. How's my. Okay. My internet connection seems. Okay, there it is. All right. What's going on? Who is that? One sec. Oh, that's my stepson and like all of his friends. Are they about to? Are they about to smoke? What is going on here? I'm watching all these 18-year-olds, all these new fresh adults. It's cute. It's real cute. One sec. All right, my bad. My stepson was saying that they were going to go to a little parking lot and go basically listen to music and go chill and just kind of chill in a parking lot, which it's 1:30 in the morning. And it's like, listen, I promise you that is not the correct answer. I know he's a fresh adult, so he's thinking that is the right answer. But was like, listen, you know, go get harassed by the cops, chilling in a parking lot at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, we all had to do it. We all had to do it when we were 18. I had to do it. It is what it is. I'm just waiting to see if they actually are going to leave. Just because, honestly, if I have to move my car, I'm just going to leave my phone where it is going to keep signal before we do terrain intel. All right, well, let's just get started. It's been 15 minutes. We've been chilling. This mission focuses on defensive terrain cover. Enemy forces have been spotted in the Alara region. Their HQ is in another area, so we believe this is a covert attack. A covert attack, that sounds like something Olaf would try. Your goal is to take your goal is to take out these units. You've been given 4 infantry units to carry out this operation. Let's go. I think I hit the note too early. Bum, bum, bum. The enemy has deployed some mechanized infantry units. This could be trouble. Mech units have more firepower than your standard infantry do. You won't be able to defeat mech units in direct combat, so you'll have to use the terrain to give you some defensive cover. I'll explain about terrain features as we go. Select this infantry unit, please. Let's review what we've learned so far, as in last week. Order this infantry unit to fire. Easy peasy. Give him the old spray and pray. Grah. Excellent. Okay, select this infantry unit, please. And now it's going to show us the difference between attacking from I have the high ground, Anakin, and not having it. Do you notice anything different? Up till now, the highlighted movement area for infantry was 3 spaces. While in the mountains, it's less. Movement cost is double here. This means your movement rate will be half of that on the plains. Do you think that means you should avoid mountains? That would be a very serious tactical error. Mountains offer advantages that compensate for movement cost. You'll understand once you fire on the enemy. Go ahead and engage the enemy and fire. And obviously it is not going to change the amount of damage I do, but it will alter the amount of damage I take, which is next turn. Then it will alter the amount of damage I output. Now compare the HP of the 2 infantry units you used to attack. The last unit took less damage than the first unit, didn't it? This is because of another terrain feature called defensive cover. You attack the enemy from the mountains, right? All right, hold on one sec. Let me pause this right quick. I'm not pausing anything, actually. Hold on. All right, might be anybody who's watching this in the future moments. Ooh, come on, why are you so tangled up? What happened? Somehow, just me putting my phone down, my headphones got uber tangled. No, you flip back around. You stop that. Ugh. All right. You attack the enemy from the mountains, right? Sorry that took so long. I was waiting for him to back out of the driveway. Defensive cover in the mountains is defensive cover in the mountains is the number here. Is this number here a 4? Damn, I cannot read. The defensive cover on the plains is a 1. The higher the defensive cover rating is, the less damage you'll take. Is that clear? Good. I knew you were a quick study. Go ahead and fire on the remaining infantry units. Select end when you're finished. All right. Let's blow this guy away. And then blow the next guy away. Get him. Ba-dum. Damn, I should have finished this alcohol like 2 hours ago. Almost, and I'm just taking my last sip now. Not good skill. Not good maneuvering. Yeah, I kind of want these to be like a drunken strategy sort of deal. But I actually have to, play on time. So you spotted my troops, have you? That's pretty good. But this time, things will be different. You'll learn what it means to face mech units. I'll just keep watch from back here. No need for me to actually be in the field. I'm still in charge, though. That is exactly what a man not in charge would ever fucking say. And then the mech unit blows me away. And the other mech unit does not that. Still does more damage, especially being a higher class unit. And that'll be all he can do. It's your turn. Mech units really pack a punch, don't they? But if you'll notice, one infantry unit took less damage than the other. Do you know why? It's because of superior defensive cover. Remembering this is vital. You should also keep in mind that movement cost differs between units. For example, mech and infantry units have different movement types. So their respective movement costs in mountains are 2 and 1. When you need intel like this, place a cursor on the space and press the R button. This works for terrain features as well as for all unit types. So for intel on unit movement types, cost, etc., remember the R button. Well, I'll leave the rest of this battle to you. They may have mech units, but you have superior numbers. Focus on what you've learned. Use it well, and victory will be yours. And that's all we need. Let me take another little drag real quick. Where is my But yeah, now we get to just do the rest of the mission to our liking, which is just going to be hitting with the higher HP units and then hitting with the lower HP ones. It's not like it's that special of a cleanup here, but I'm really happy that 2 weeks in a row these streams have gone pretty well. The quality has only dipped like one time. Everything has been overall pretty nice. All right. Now let us wrap this guy up. Since I can do it in any order, I feel like I could actually lose this if I really wanted. We're not going to. Just interesting to think. I wonder what's the earliest I could lose in this game is. Leave him with no way out. And then same thing here. Hit with the higher damage. And then hit this guy from the forest with that higher defensive cover. There we go. Now, this is the only thing I don't like is that, and I remember this from the first game, if the computer views your fight is futile, they won't even attack you. They won't even bother. And I'm not going to lie, that bothers me. It's just like, listen, if you can do some damage, do some fucking damage. Let it be 2 to 1 between the mech. My infantry unit has 1 health and your mech unit has 2 health. Like, let that be the case. Do it. Why are we being a pussy? One more thing. If at any point during the battle you need to stop, there's a way to save. Saving will prevent you from having to start the same mission over again. Now for this, hopefully I learn how to play at an earlier and more sensible time, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal in the future. I should be able to just play for a couple hours and I'll be good no matter the map length. Now, unlike when I tried playing Famicom Wars a few weeks ago, because I thought that was going to be the next game, they were just not designed to be played like this. It's just, I don't know, there's something about it where it's like, oh yeah, every map could take like 2-3 hours. And, you know, I can deal with a few maps being like that, but, you know, I need some maps to take me 30 minutes, not 2 hours. Please go to the map menu now. Place the cursor on an empty space and press the A button. There's the save command, right? This will allow you to save your progress during a battle. Use this whenever you need to take a break from a mission. I'll let you decide whether or not to save at this point. Okay, just a little more work here and you should defeat Olaf. Don't let your guard down though. Good luck and move out. Oh, I can use the smaller guy and just bully you with that right now. I don't think I can do it here though. Blow you off the bridge. You've done it. These units really were on a covert operation. Thanks to your planning, our troops took minimal damage. Keep up the good work. Ah, another failure. After all my careful planning, another botched mission. Next time, I will prevail. And that's it. Do I get full? Yep, you get full marks for just doing the bare minimum. There we go. And we sit. Oh, I guess I didn't need to save, but whatever. All right. That is it for the day. Next week, we come in here with base capture. So next week, we got Field Mission Training 3, and we will go from there. How long have we got? It's been 31 minutes. All right. Well, we got about 15 minutes to just kind of chill, hang out, relax a little bit. And then I'm going to go inside and probably go to sleep. I need the sleep. I need it bad. Oh, especially because tomorrow I got to be in like super dad mode tomorrow. Because tomorrow we're going to be taking the kids to a local park that's called Santa's Village. And it's just like a little tiny amusement park for kids. A lot of carnival rides, a couple little roller coasters. Pretty small place, but, you know, has a lot of things. I only wish, oh, man. It was nice. I've heard they were supposed to be closing it down. But I don't know when. I don't know the time frame. But on one half of the property, at least for the last, like, honestly, it's been close to 20 years. In the late 2000s, early 2010s, they opened a paintball field on the property, and that used to be a big place of my early 20s to go to. I used to go there with my buddy all the time. And today I went, like, I can't bring my kids into there for them to watch, but we just kind of pulled up along next to the parks, and you could hear the sound of paintball guns being fired. And it was all titty sprinkles. Oh, it was all sprinkles from tits. I loved it. It just, it's one of those hobbies that I truly miss doing. I really miss it. It was so much fun, especially because I just always played with, I started playing with a paintball crowd that kind of got me in the know everywhere I went. Because when I would play, I got brought up by some friends who played with single shot guns, pump guns. So, you know, conceptually, you know, a shotgun, you pump, you shoot. This is the same thing except with paintballs, except instead of a bunch of scatter shots, it's just one ball, just pump, shoot, pump, shoot. And I got used to playing with pump players. And when you are used to playing with a gun that can only shoot one ball at a time versus, you know, even a semi-shot where you don't have to pump the gun and you can just instead of like even that little bit, like that's a lot of time difference between the two. And when you're used to playing against people who can shoot faster than you and you learn how to still come out on top, it just does something to you. It just hits you in all the correct loins. So like it made it to where anywhere I played, I was always going to be in with the crowd no matter where I went. Cuz like I was always impressing someone. Even if I didn't play a good game and I'm playing against people who have guns that can shoot way faster than mine can, you just get admirers. That's what it is. And because the guns are not any more or less accurate, they're about just as accurate. So the only thing that really makes a difference in the field is the person behind it. And it's just a good feeling. It's a great feeling when I remember there was one day where somebody had seen our guns, and before each game, most times, if you're in a field where people are doing their jobs, the refs are supposed to chrono your guns, which I think it's chronography or something like that. I forget what the actual word is. But you are supposed to go and make sure your guns are shooting at the correct velocity. You don't want your paintball gun shooting too low, because obviously then it means the paintballs don't break. And paintball works vaguely on a luck-based system in that, most times you get shot, that ball is going to pop and you're obviously out. But if a ball hits you and it bounces and it does not pop, you are still in the game. So it's not really luck-based, but it also kind of is. And why on earth was I even bringing that up? Why was I bringing up the fact that whether they pop or not? Boy, am I tired. I mean, I can kind of guess of where I was going. But, when you get a gun that only shoots one at a time, a lot of times your instinct is you get hit, you'll call yourself out. Because, I was talking about how fast the guns shoot. Because if they're shooting too low, they're just going to bounce off. And the unfortunate thing is that when you're also the one getting hit, it still fucking hurts. It still hurts. So you'll sit there and you'll get shot. You will call yourself out of the game. And then as soon as you'll get hit, like let's just say in a sweet spot, you'll get shot just in the neck. Because, your paintball mask only covers, your eyes and your mouth and your face. You'll get hit in the neck or somewhere real tender. Or on the muffin top, your belly fat. You'll get hit on the side fat. And instinctually, because the balls should be hitting you hard enough, you end up calling yourself out just out of instinct. You'll just feel like, I'm out, because it hit you in somewhere sensitive. And then after you called yourself out, you'll look, and the motherfucking ball didn't break. So you weren't out. You called yourself out, so you're most certainly out now, but originally you weren't out. And that is truly one of the worst feelings when you're playing paintball. But obviously, that's a risk when you shoot someone just shooting a little low, is that the balls don't pop. Which if you're the one shooting, obviously you don't want that. You want every shot you land to burst, so that way you're making sure that you fucking get all your outs. You get all your kills. But, obviously, when it is shooting low, even on the receiving end, you end up, just instinctually, you'll get hit and call yourself out and then look around. Now, people who are professionals and avid players, I'm sure them on the other hand, they're used to making sure before they call it. But When you're a normie, you're not used to doing that. And it will happen. You will call yourself out on a shot that you never needed to. And yeah, it sucks. But obviously, you want to be measuring speed because you don't want to be on the opposite end. You don't want to be shooting hot because as it stands, when you go paintballing, a ball is going to hit you at a because I think at least the 2 or 3 fields that I played at over the years that I was playing, you got a range. It was usually between 280 feet per second to 300 feet per second. Some might stretch it a little lower and be like 270, or a little higher and be 305, 310. But it's always going to be around the 280 to 300 region. Because obviously you don't want the opposite. You don't want, to be hitting people. Like, there's already a chance with the skin on paintballs. Skin is the wrong word. The shell can cut, and the paint is moving fast enough that it's pretty much guaranteed to always leave a mark on you. So, running it hot is, no, it's just a safety risk. That's really just what it's just a safety risk. They can already cut you. You don't need to make it worse. You don't need to make it more of a big deal. But man, is the sport fun. It's just so much fun. It's expensive to get into, but once you got all the equipment, it becomes much more decently priced. But I used to love being someone that, like I was saying earlier, when you play with pump guns and the guns aren't any more accurate than a semi-auto or some of the guns that can shoot full auto, which is fucked. Because you're not any faster and they're not, or you're not any more accurate and they're not any more accurate, and it's just a volume difference. I would love, being at the chrono station and, having the referee check the FPS on my shots, and you'd get some guy with a gun that could shoot full auto, some fucking space dildo, and they see your gun just, and they'll sit there and be like, man, how are you going to get somebody out with that gun? And you would just look at him and you're like, you just watch. You watch. And, it always felt so good. Especially when the best kills to get in a paintball match are outs you get and you don't even have to fire a shot. Because obviously what you can do is kind of like real life, is you can get people to surrender. You can already call yourself out before even realizing if a ball even broke. You can get people to surrender. And that is so much fun. The only problem is, though, is that you always got to watch out, because when you say surrender, like, somebody's not paying attention, you pop up behind them, surrender! Now, the thing is, when you're saying that, whether you know it or not, there is kind of an implied question mark at the end of that. Because when somebody asks you to surrender, there can be an answer to that. There can be something other than, all right, I'm out. And that could be the person trying to turn and fire on you. So the real way to get somebody out is to tell them, you're out. Because most people just won't argue with that. I wouldn't argue with that. Somebody pops up behind you, points the barrel of their gun right on your rib cage and is like, you're out. And they do that to me, bro, I'm out. I am not taking a point blank shot. Like, yeah, it's just going to be a bruise, but fuck that. That's going to suck. I don't want that. So I've had a couple, I remember one of them was, I remember seeing some guy had seen me shooting my gun and asked me, well, how are you going to get people out with that? And I remember looking at him, I was like, oh, you wait and see. And sure enough, that very guy, I saw him go behind a piece of cover I don't even remember what it was. I don't even remember what field I was playing on. I just remember this happening. And he had slid into some cover. Actually, I think it was a competition field, which they have these inflatable balloon-like structures for you to play with, for like competition paintball. And he slid up behind a piece of cover, and I was already like running up that side, and I saw him slide up, and he didn't see me, and he started aiming out the other way and shooting at my team, and he didn't see me. And it just felt good that I just kept being careful. I ran up alongside him, and sure enough, I just tap him on the shoulder, and before he could look around, I just stick my barrel on his arm. I'm like, "You're out." And he recognized that it was me, and no fucking shit. And then that was it. The man walked off. And I never had to listen to this from this motherfucker. Well, how are you going to get people out with that kind of gun? I got him out and I didn't even have to fire a shot. Hell, I did one where I didn't even need a gun. Because I remember one time letting my buddy use my gun. Because his gun was broken for whatever reason. I think he needed just some little insignificant part that he just hadn't gotten. And for paintball, there's barrel squeegees where, because balls can load incorrectly or whatever, paintballs can burst inside of the actual barrel or inside of the gun, which will cause splatter, which the gun will be fine. But the problem is that when you're playing, if there's paint or anything on the inside of your barrel and on the inside of your gun, it can cause the balls to drift wildly from where they're supposed to be shooting. And I remember my buddy's gun wasn't working, so I just let him use my gun, and I walked around with the squeegee. And same thing, I had someone like, "Oh, how are you going to get someone out without a gun?" And sure enough, that motherfucker was the exact guy that I got out without needing a paintball gun. And that felt so good because I was using the barrel squeegee like a knife and trying to stab people. And there were boxes on this one field. It's not at the field anymore. It was called World at War. And it was like, it was supposed to look like a miniature abandoned town. It was 9 buildings in a 3x3 grid. And the middle was a building that was made out to be like a miniature church that you could go into. And they had cover that were all around the field that would be these boxes that would be stacked on top of each other, but in between the two boxes would be just 2 little slivers of wood that were like maybe an inch high. And obviously all that did was separate the 2 boxes an inch apart, so you could have a little piece to see between the boxes. And it felt so good because the same motherfucker asking me, "Well, how are you going to get someone out without a gun?" I see him walking towards me. I see him through the boxes. And I just put my back against the box and I look to my right, and as he walks up, I just stab him right in the stomach with it. And I was like, "You're out, motherfucker!" And it felt so good. It felt so good. Because, listen, you don't need a paintball gun to play paintball. You just need one if you don't want it to be risky. And the few times I'm able to get people out without even needing, because I believe I got that guy out, and then I believe I got the game winner in that match, stabbing someone. And yeah, I had taken the squeegee because I think it was those same boxes. There was, if you imagine the boxes were next to each other, like 2 boxes. Well, actually, they're 4 because they're 2 stacked on top of each other. 2 boxes, they're like rectangular, and the smaller ends are next to each other. And then there's another box in the middle going perpendicular to them, so it made a T shape. So there was 3 stacks total. 2 on both sides of a T and 1 making the T. And I remember standing or like crouching between the boxes and looking for the last guy. And I remember he was running towards me. Obviously, I'm behind one of the sets of boxes staring at him. But it's like, I remember having to battle with myself thinking, all right, well, if this motherfucker doesn't stop on the other end of this T shape, he's just going to see me and he's going to light me up, and that's going to be the end of it. But sure enough, he was looking for me, so he went to one end of the T, and I was able to go around and just gotcha. And I miss paintballing. I miss it so much. But that is going to be it for the day. I've been talking too much. If you're like the one person that's watching this, rewind to the beginning and hang out with me. If not, I'm going to be hanging out next Saturday night, hopefully at a much more reasonable hour, because I wanted to start playing this today at like 10:45 p.m. Central Time. Meanwhile, it is like 2 in the morning. I didn't start playing till past 1 in the morning. I was not good about my time management today, but it's fine. I will be back next week to do it all again. Next week is base capture. We're going to continue on with these, what is it? With the field missions, and we'll eventually have them all done. So, till then, guys, I will see y'all next week. Actually, really, I'll be back tomorrow, because tomorrow I got some Mega Man to play and some One Piece to watch. So, I'll talk to y'all then. Peace.